All right, can the ZVE-10 compare to the ZVE-1? Can it compete? Can it hold up compared to the full frame ZVE-1? Now we're talking about $600, $700 camera, even less used, or a $2,200 full frame ZVE-1. Now, the settings I have on these cameras right now, I've got the 85 millimeter 1.8 Sony on the ZV-E1, and kind of for the equivalent, I got the Sigma 56 millimeter 1.4 on 1.4, so it's letting in a little more light. But hey, let's get the best we can out of the lens that you can get, right? Because you know it's cheaper to buy a APS-C lenses generally than it is for the full frame. So we're talking kind of apples to apples, like an 84 mil in the APS-C and the 85 mil on the Sony. Now both of these are set at 100 ISO. Well, actually, now both of these are set at the the lowest they can go, 1.8 on the 1.8 Sony I have on the full frame ZVE-1, and the 1.4 on the ZVE-10. I wanted to show the difference because, like, the ZVE-10, awesome camera, right? But it doesn't have S-Cinetone, right? This is S-Cinetone on the ZVE-1. Straight out of camera, no adjustments. This is that S-Cinetone. And I like S-Cinetone. It just looks good coming out. But I'm going to switch that over so it'll be apples to apples. But I just wanted to kind of, so you can kind of see what it is. And I think, you know, the lights, most of my light's coming from the right side, and my ZVE-10 is just bringing in more light. So I think that's because that's where all the light's coming from, why it's a little brighter. So I'm going to brighten up my, that's a little too bright. But anyway, this is S-Cinetone on the ZVE-10. This is S-Cinetone on the ZVE-1, and ZVE-10 is still at the standard profile. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the profile over. All right, guys, ZVE-1 is now set on standard profile. So apples to apples, straight out the camera, that's what you're going to get. All right. I do have the ISO up to 200 on the E1 just because it's on the left side. It's kind of in the corner-ish. I'm just kind of trying to make it look somewhat same exposure, but we'll see how it turns out. But how's this look? If you're going to just put something on a tripod, is the ZVE-10 enough for you? I say yes, it is. But you know, if you get the 56 millimeter, you know, $300 used, maybe even less on that lens, you know, the 1.4 on that camera, I mean, you can blow out the background pretty good, just the same as you can with a full frame, but it goes to 1.4, so it helps out a little bit with a bokeh in the background. But I just wanted to show you, like, because I said I love the ZVE-1 and I like it, but the ZVE-10 is a good, like, if you just starting on YouTube, all you need is a ZVE-10. That's all you need, really. I mean, if you want more, if you want, you know, especially if you're going to take action shots where you're moving and panning, the ZVE-1 is definitely better for that because of the rolling shutter. ZVE-1 is the best for the price on the Sony on down that has the best rolling shutter. Like the A7C2 and the A7 IV even have way worse rolling shutter than the ZVE-1, but they don't have the overheating issues or whatever. But that's a whole nother discussion. But what do you think, guys? There's the ZVE-10 and the ZVE-1 straight out of camera. This is what you're going to get. No picture profile. So I'm going to go ahead and, of course, we can't do this without doing a low light test, right? We got to run the low light and see what that is going to, see what that's going to do. But I'm going to still leave the ZVE-10 on the 1.4 because it gives it a little advantage on light, but it's also an APS-C sensor, so eventually it will not overcome what the ZVE-1 can do. However, it's still a way cheaper setup. You know, you can get that whole ZVE-10 setup for less than $1,000, easy. With this lens and the Sony ZVE-1, you could get 35 millimeter, 85, whatever you want. But you're looking at $2,600. You know, so you're $2,600 versus $1,000. You're talking 1.5 times the price. Are you getting 1.5 times the quality? You let me know. According to what YouTube shows and what I see, might be a little different too. But you let me know in the comments if you think it's worth the extra $1,600. I don't know. You tell me. But I'm going to go ahead. We're going to do some ISO testing right now. Now, it should be pretty good on both, right? The 500 ISO, even on APS-C, is pretty good. Full frame shouldn't be an issue at all. So we're going to go ahead and kick this up again. So this is 500 on each, 500 ISO. All right. So I'm going to drop the light down again, and we're gonna go to 1,000, 1,600 on the ZV-E1 to kind of match the extra light that the ZV-E10 is letting in, because you got to understand this lens is cheaper, right, on the ZV-E10, but it also lets in more light. So that's what kind of helps it. You know, it needs that 1.4. That 1.4 is huge on the APS-C because it really helps it out. But we'll go apples to apples. So we're at 1,000 ISO right now, and I could raise exposure and all that. We could do that. But how does this look? Okay, this is 1,000. Now we're going to crank it up. All right, guys, we are now at 4,000 ISO. 4,000 ISO on both the ZV-E10 and the ZV-E1. And it's a little underexposed on the ZV-E1 right now, I can tell. But how does this look so far? Okay, so 4,000 ISO, we're going to get into grainy territory here, especially on the ZV-E10 probably. So, but how's it look? Is it usable? 4,000 ISO. And this is dark, guys. Like, if you're going to use it for a YouTube studio camera, you are not going to be running at 4,000 ISO. All right, let's just be straight up honest. You're not going to do that. But, you know, if you want the capability of doing that low light, then that's where the full frame comes in. But the ZV-10 is killing it right now. It looks still pretty good. But, again, it's going to introduce grain now when you start getting to the 4,000 ISOs. But we're going to crank it up, and we're going to see what happens. $8,000 ISO on both of these cameras, and how's this looking? Now it looks really bright on the ZV-E10, and I think we're way overexposed on that, but I wanted to check that out. I guess I'll drop the aperture at some point, but hey, I just wanted to see, because apples to apples, if I raise the exposure up, wow, just look at that. Just the light from the iPad, look at that. Now, that's the light from the iPad showing up. You know what I mean? So I got to watch out that doesn't skew the results too. But if I want to crank this up, I'll go 12,800 ISO on the ZV-E1 to match what the ZV-E10 is doing right now. But this light in the background is kind of skewing my deal here. My computer. So I might shut that off now so I can go higher. But this is 12,800 ISO on the ZV-E1, and we're still only at 8,000 ISO on the, so we're 12,800 on the ZV-E1, 8,000 ISO on the ZV-E10. So I'm going to put this at 12,000 and see what happens. Oh, overexposure city, anybody? Yeah, that's crazy. But that 1.4 is a beast. That 56 lets in a lot of light. I have them both set at 12,800, and my ZV-E10 is overexposed big time, like crazy. But how does the quality look? You know, I'm going to turn this computer off behind me, and we'll see what it does. That's about as low as I'm going to get for the light in here, guys. So the ZV-E10 is holding its own, though. I mean, apples for apples. I mean, I can go higher on the ISO, but I'm just going to overexpose myself like crazy on the ZV-E10 just because it's so dark in here, but it's letting in so much light. And the ZV-E10, ZV-E1, I could still crank up more ISO probably, 20,000 is ridiculous. 16,000 ISO on the ZVE1 now is 16,000 ISO. And there is no light in here, guys. Like, just what's coming in through the shades that are closed. I mean, if I went down 100 ISO right now, it would blow your mind. Look at that. That's the light in here right now, guys. Okay, just to give you an idea, this is ISO 100. All right, so we're operating off some major digital lighting here. 12,800. We'll go with that. See, I mean, just the tablet alone light, you see how much of it makes of a difference, because that's how dark it is in here. So that's how dark it is in here. So you're not going to need to go to this extreme. But anyway, what do you think, guys? How does the ZVE-10 hold up compared to the ZVE-1? Let me know in the comments below. Just let me know what you think. And if you want me to do a walking vlog test with these, let me know, and I'll go ahead and do that too. Obviously, the ZVE-10, you have to run it through Catalyst Browse. The stabilization, that is worthless, basically. And the ZVE-1, I could also do Catalyst Browse, or I could do the dynamic stab, and there you go. But it kind of crops in, so you lose some quality. Trade-off. Or you could run it through Catalyst Browse and keep full quality. So, all right, guys. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Is the ZVE-10 still relevant? Of course it is. Look at that. Look at that. You know what I mean? And this is a high ISO, right? If we go back down to the 100 ISO, it's going to kill it. It's going to kill it, guys. I mean, there it is. But let me know in the comments below. Is it worth 1.5 times more? I don't know. I like them both. That's why I have them both. But leave it in the comments below. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.